Didn't even get to cross.
Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast, and today it is a 1 vs 1 on Minsk Pocket, and I have a very short game for you today, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a bad game. Down south, we have our red OKW player, Tupac, Amaru the second, and up top, we have our yellow British Forces player, Spartak, one of my favorite players. He always has a very short gameplay, and always whips out something really surprising. And we have the infantry section moving off to the left side territory point here, right outside the main base, as well for the OKW as well, taking the first field point right outside their base. It is Minsk Pockets. We have our victory points going diagonally across the map here. And we have our munitions points on either side in the center of the center victory point there. And we have our fuel points at the bottom and the top of the map right outside each player's base. So 2 infantry sections coming out for our British Forces player, and we have a very early universal carrier as well moving out to the center of the field. For our OKW player, we have 2 Volksgrenadiers, one of them just now coming out, and the Stern Pioneers moving off to the right side of the map, taking some territory fairly quickly here. Moving out separately and taking different spots at the same time here. Always the way to do it. Infantry section now taking the territory points in the middle. Decided to skip the fuel point, which is a little bit surprising as the fuel point is so close to your base on Minsk Pocket. You might as well just take it pretty quickly. Universal carrier moving down south here. And going to scout out and see what's going on quickly. Going to notice that the fuel point is already taken by the OKW player. And did not see anything in the center there, so now going off to the right. And I'm going to check everything over this way as well. Now a Kubu wagon coming out for the OKW player. Still nothing coming out for the British player. And now the Volksgrenadiers taking the far right victory point. So far no victory points for the British Forces, but taking the fuel point and the munitions point at the same time currently, where the OKW taking the munitions point and a right side victory point. Volksgrenadiers just sitting outside the main base here, just made those and put them in cover here to defend the fuel point, but should be moving those off to the left side here and taking some territory. Kubu wagon is now out for our OKW player, and see if he can use that effectively to suppress the British Forces player. Now a 3rd infantry section out for our British player as well.
Loaded up and ready to move.
Universal carrier watching this section of the map here. Still the territory point on the left side here, uncaptured by our OKW player, and now just sitting outside the front base as well. Should be moving those out pretty quickly. Volksgrenadiers now taking the territory point on the right side, so the OKW owning more the territory on the map here, owning the left entire right side, that is. Now Stern Pioneers in a battle against these infantry section here. I'm going to get inside the tower for a little bit of cover against these infantry. And now just need to move those back a little bit and get away from those Stern Pioneers. However, there aren't really any windows on this side of the house, so really don't want to get in there to defend yourself from the sniper's nest. Infantry section and the Universal Carrier flanking the Stern Pioneers, now running home and losing 1 in that squad. Not too big of a loss there. Infantry section has taken the left side victory point, still the center victory point completely neutralized still, and the Volksgrenadiers now moving off to the center of the map. Should be moving over to the center victory point here. I could just move these Volksgrenadiers forward and take that pretty quick here. So this is not really necessarily a professional game. So these players aren't necessarily top 100 or 200 players as they normally cast, but I decided to cast this game because I really like Spartak. I really like his play. It's always sort of fun and a little bit wacky. And now we have the Vickers heavy machine gun moving towards the center of the map here. And our OKW player just now moving to the center victory point, and just need to get inside that and take that. Really want to see that happen, but so far no good. And Volksgrenadiers now taking the left side territory point, and just now capturing that. So far 42 and 26 to 26 and 19 in terms of the income. Score so far 486 to 500. So OKW doing a little bit better. They just simply captured the right side victory point first. Volksgrenadiers, Kubu wagon, and additional Volksgrenadiers here battling out in the center. Kubu wagon is suppressing the infantry here. Got to get those back and decides to retreat those out of there. Vickers picking up and backing off. Could use that Vickers to battle it out with that Kubu wagon, as a heavy machine gun typically always wins out against the Kubu wagon. The infantry here about to get flanked from the other side here by these Volksgrenadiers, so they're in a little bit of trouble here. However, the Vickers is setting up, needs to set up against these Volksgrenadiers here and try and stop those. However, these Volksgrenadiers on the right side now battling out with additional infantry sections that have been moved down to the center here. And these infantry sections just running up and are going to do a point-blank battle against these Volksgrenadiers. However, they were suppressed, so they could not really fire so effectively. So they just simply have to retreat away. Now the Universal Carrier has a flamethrower and now forcing away the Volksgrenadiers there. The Universal Carrier, a very, very, very good flamethrower. Shoots very far, as you can see. Look at the range on that. Storm Pioneers now moving up and trying to take out this Vickers heavy machine gun. Doing a pretty good job of it. Almost down to one man in the squad. Now down to one man and should be able to get away there. Retreated just in time with a small sliver of health. Rakettenwerfer is out on the map and is retreating currently as the infantry section here flanked the Rakettenwerfer and the Kugelwagen from behind. Kugelwagen needs to turn around there and start attacking. Could actually turn around and use the backup feature and will be shooting at those troops as it's running away rather than facing away. Universal Carrier now moving forward here. The center victory point still neutralized. Either side really obtaining that 486 to 500. Both sides have one victory point, so neither side really winning at the moment. Infantry section now going to get suppressed by this Kugelwagen. Got to watch out for that. However, the infantry Universal Carrier is moving up and now going to start flaming up that Kugelwagen and now have to back up and down to about half health. But repairs it very quickly. One of the Volksgrenadiers has that Panzerschreck package and now can take out that Universal Carrier in a few hits. And we looks like we have a sniper coming out for the British forces. And now the OKW player trying to heal up here and reinforce, has his troops all the way back here. As you can tell, fairly low-level game, not really microing too well here. But can't always cast the professional games. Got to cast a good old lower-level game once in a while. And you can see what to do and what not to do. So it's always a good lesson learned. Infantry sections here battling out. Volksgrenadiers coming up, and these Volksgrenadiers with the Panzerschreck need to get over to that Universal Carrier and try and hit that. But one Panzerschreck alone is not going to be able to take out that Universal Carrier. He will be able to react in time once he takes a hit. And now moving up, and the Panzerschreck there took out one of those infantry, now down to one man in that squad, and two in this squad, so in trouble there. Need to retreat those out of there. Rakettenwerfer is now setting up and trying to hit that Universal Carrier, but is slightly out of range. Not going to be able to hit it from there. And here comes the British forces sniper coming down to the battles. They start taking out some of these troops one by one, and the Volksgrenadiers down to 3 men in that squad, and the Storm Pioneers now moving up, trying to take back that fuel point from the British forces as they neutralized it earlier. And now the victory point here almost got captured by the British forces there. That sniper just ran right through that and almost had it, but ran out. Now the sniper trying to take out this Rakettenwerfer here, took out one of the men in that squad. And now the Rakettenwerfer is picking up and running back on home, and so are the Storm Pioneers now going to be backing out that Kugelwagen as well. So now the OKW player sort of backed into a hole here, backed up into the right side only. British forces owning a little bit more of the map than the OKW, but still not capturing that center victory point. So if anybody's looking to learn a little bit from this game, capture that center victory point. Why not? Just put something there, anything there. The Kugelwagen moving forward here, going to try and get at that sniper, but not a very good idea. That sniper does big damage to light vehicles, and now the Kugelwagen is a burning pile of nothing now. Vickers heavy machine gun is set up over the fuel point here. A pretty good spot for this machine gun, as it's got a very wide arc and can cover this whole area, so no troops are really going to be able to move up through there unless that Vickers is taken care of. Now the Schwerer Wehrmachtschlepper is setting up and turning into a Schwerer Panzer headquarters. A little bit of green eggs and ham going on there. And now the Volksgrenadiers moving forward here. Just 2 Volksgrenadiers without Panzerschrecks and 1 with a Panzerschreck. Not too much forces for our OKW player. He does have floating quite a bit of money and simply not using it. Again, a lesson learned, always use your money. He's up to about 600 and not using it. And so is Spartak, about almost to 500 there, but just now started using that money. And now taking the left side territory point outside of his base there. Actually had to think about that for a moment. Which side is that, left or right? And now the sniper is firing away at these Volksgrenadiers. Took out one of the Volksgrenadiers so far. 3 kills on that sniper. So not doing too good yet. Needs to get a lot more kills than that to be able to pay for that sniper. Vickers heavy machine gun is set up here, going to start suppressing this Volkswagen here, while the Universal Carrier takes out those Stern Pioneers there and forces them home. They could have gotten flanked here, but that Universal Carrier came just in time to force away those Stern Pioneers.
Armored car completed.
Now the Rakettenwerfer is set up back here, but it's too far from that Universal Carrier as it's all the way in the back there. And the 55 cal sniper needs to move up a little bit, get some shots on that Rakettenwerfer there, and start taking out that crew. Now the infantry section is moving over to the right side here, going to start taking some of this while the OKW is distracted in the middle, and the Schwer Panzer headquarters is almost built. And we'll be able to successfully defend this area. However, it's a little bit too close to his base, as this area here is the only area defended. And really, you don't really even need to be in this area, so should put that up a little bit further and use that defense. That big area of defense could be put up here and force away the British forces, as it's pretty hard to deal with a Schwer Panzer headquarters. Infantry section now going to be moving right up in the face of these Volksgrenadiers, forcing them away. They had that Panzer Schreck, and that's what they definitely needed to take care of that Universal Carrier. Now we have a Mark III armored car out on the field for the British forces. And here we go with a Luke's Panzer II now versus the armored car. The Luke's was fighting these infantry section here, and not the armored car, which it needed to be. But the Panzer II's weapon is just simply not good enough for this armored car. And going to lose that Panzer II. May actually lose this armored car here, but uses that smoke, covers his retreat there from that Schwer Panzer headquarters. Almost lost that, down to a small sliver of health there. Vickers heavy machine gun is set up here, and it looks like our OKW player had GG'd out. And now leaving Spartak the winner. And as you can see, Spartak played pretty well here and forced his opponent all the way back, and he simply had the GG out because he really couldn't deal with it. But again, it was a low-level game, so you can see what to do and what not to do in a low-level game. Definitely don't float 700 resources, and with your Schwer Panzer headquarters, a lot of people put this all the way back in their base, but I never really like to see that in the replays that I cast. I really like to see a Schwer Panzer headquarters placed somewhere very strategically, not necessarily out in the open, but if you put it somewhere typically behind a building, although this map typically doesn't really have a lot of buildings in it, but if you put them behind a building like so, although this isn't a good area, so don't take this into too much consideration here, if you put it behind a building, it's very hard to hit it, and then it covers a good area there. So it defends it from mortars and such like that getting to it, but it can also defend the area where it can see. So I also got to use those a little bit more wise. And the Universal Carrier, the flamethrower on that is super, super good. So make sure you guys use that Universal Carrier flamethrower, as it's so good. And the 55 caliber armor-piercing snipers are also incredibly good, as they take out Kuba wagons and lightly armored vehicles very well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and I will see you guys next time.